that they have every opportunity available to them, and that our parents, that they are treated as the drivers of their children's education, and that they are given every opportunity to do what's best for their kids, whatever that may be. I wanted to share a quick story with you all, and maybe you have heard this story, but one story that I think really demonstrates the importance of this issue above many others is that of a prize-winning agronomist. His name was Norman Borlaug. And Norman Borlaug was credited with saving 1 billion lives at a time during a massive drought across the globe, where the world elite had said that India and Africa were going to starve. The thing that a lot of people don't know about Norman Borlaug is that we almost lost his contribution entirely to the world. And that's because around the time that he went in to the university to try to get into studies, he realized that they had just unveiled a new type of test taking called the standardized test. And I don't know if you know much about that, but he was about as good at the standardized test as I was, which was not very good. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get in. But thankfully, around that same time, colleges in the community level, junior colleges, community colleges started to open up. And he was able to get into a community college by the skin of his teeth, and they realized this guy is a genius, and he's incredibly smart. And he went on to saving 1 billion lives. That's B with a billion with a B. It's incredible. And I think the question that many of us should ask is, how many Norman Borlaugs have we lost as far as those contributions to society? Because kids have become disengaged in their learning. And I think that the heart of every person in here is that we are making sure that our kids are engaged in their learning, that they are excited to learn, and that they are fulfilled so that they can go out and help others and make a real difference in their communities and the world, whatever that may look like. So again, this is what unifies us today. This is what brings us together. I'm so grateful to be here with you. Today we have a great slate of some speakers. We're going to hear from just a small selection, but a very significant selection of some school choice advocates in our state, across our state, who are doing a lot to prioritize kids and families. And to begin, I would like to introduce our first speaker for the day. We're very blessed to have him with us today. He didn't have to travel very far, though. Serving as Montana's 25th governor, Governor Greg Gianforte has been a champion for students, parents, and teachers. Since taking office, the governor has provided record funding for education, raised teacher pay, expanded school choice, and increased access to education opportunities for all Montanans. Together with his wife, Susan, who I think is here with us today. Oh, right in front of us. Blessed to have you. The governor and first lady have supported the countless initiatives across the state that help youth and disadvantaged individuals find a pathway to education and gain the skills they need to achieve the American dream. We are honored to have him join us today. Please help me in welcoming Governor Greg Gianforte.
Welcome to the People's House. It's great to be with you. It's great to be here with so many friends advocating for educational freedom during this National School Choice Week. Since taking office, as Patrick mentioned, we've worked to make sure parents have the freedom and choice to make the best decision for their child's education. But there's more we need to do. Even with all the progress we've made, our job is not done, because we recognize that each child is unique and deserves the best education possible to meet his or her individual needs. The benefits of expanding educational freedom are clear. It empowers parents who know what's best for their children, increases competition and that improves quality for all students, and it helps align a child's education with their specific learning styles. Simply put, more choice leads to better outcomes for students. Working with the legislature, we've expanded options for students so they can get an education that works for them. In 2021, we raised the cap on the tax credit available for individuals and businesses donating to scholarship granting organizations to give choice to children from lower income families. In 2023, I signed into law a pair of bills to authorize public charter schools and community choice schools. And building on the success of Big Sky scholarships, we more than doubled the cap from $2 million to $5 million to specifically expand educational opportunities for children from middle and low income families. We embraced open enrollment, which increases competition between public schools. And we now offer partial enrollment for electives like physics and calculus to help our homeschool families. And just since I took office, we now allow homeschool and independent school students to play on public school sports teams so they can round out their education. And personally, I think I learned as much playing football in high school than I did in the classroom. And just last week, I signed Montana up for the new federal tax credit scholarship program that was part of the big, beautiful bill. This program provides Montanans with a federal tax credit when they donate to nonprofits that provide scholarships to students. Opting in gives us another tool in the toolbox to expand educational freedom and provides children with more educational opportunities so they have the ability to choose the learning path that makes the most sense for them. Going forward, we need to make sure education freedom is a reality for every single Montana child. That's why in 2027, universal school choice is at the top of our list for the next legislative session. It's about time. We owe it to parents, students, and all of our future to get this done. Universal school choice will help all Montana students. Despite all our progress, we've hit some bumps along the way. You may ask, what's the biggest hurdle in unleashing the full power of educational freedom? Well, the obstacle is not the legislature, it's not our office, it's not even the budget. The biggest hurdle to universal school choice is the Montana Supreme Court. They are out of step with Montana families. If we want universal school choice, we need to change the way we elect judges in Montana. Right now, you can applaud for that. Right now, our judicial races are shrouded in secrecy. We hardly know anything about the people that we're voting for. Montanans have a right to know the values and principles of the judges they elect. That's why we need partisan judicial elections. By allowing judicial candidates to optionally declare their party affiliation, we will know where they stand on key issues like education freedom. In closing, I just want to thank you all for being here. Together, we will continue to expand education freedom so that each and every Montana child gets the best education matched with their learning skill. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor. All right, next up, Susie Hedelin was elected by Montana voters in 2024 general election to a 4-year term to lead the state's Office of Public Instruction. which along with the Board of Public Education oversees Montana's K-12 public school system. Helen was brought up in Montana's public school system and graduated from Helena High School. She went on to earn a bachelor's degree in elementary education and master's degree in educational leadership from Montana State University, Bozeman, along with a certificate in Native American Studies. She has spent nearly 2 decades as a teacher and administrator in the state's most rural Class C schools up to the largest AA districts. Her experience also includes time as the Deputy Superintendent at the Montana Office of Public Instruction and as the Vice Chair of the Montana Board of Public Education. Please join me in welcoming our State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Susie Hedelin.
Thank you all for being here today and inviting me to speak. When I look out at this crowd, I see parents, grandparents, educators, students, and employers, neighbors, and all of us who care deeply about our kids and our state. And that's what school choice is all about. It's about trusting families, respecting communities, and putting our students first. Long before a student ever walks into a classroom, learning is already taking place. It's happening at conversations on the kitchen table, on the ranch, in the shops, on the drive to practice, and at the home. No policy, no system, and no government office can replace the role of an engaged parent. Today's school does not look like it did yesterday, and that's a good thing. Montana students today have opportunities their parents and grandparents could only imagine. They can earn college credit through dual credit opportunities while still remaining in high school. They can participate in work-based learning and gain skills with real employers in their own communities. They can partially enroll, taking some classes in public school, as we discussed, and also participating in private school or homeschool. They can log on from rural towns and reservations to access online education from educators in Montana and across the nation. Geography no longer has to determine destiny, and no one single model fits every child. Today, families can build education experiences that work for them, not the other way around. Public schools, private schools, homeschools, online learning, career training, or a blended combination of all of these. That flexibility is not chaos. It is opportunity. It's common sense, and it reflects our state of Montana. Montanans believe in options. We believe in freedom, we believe in responsibility, and we believe in charting our own course. Whether you ranch, teach, run a small business, or serve in a uniform, you know the best decisions are made close to home by those of us who truly know our children. School choice is not about tearing anything down. It's about building more options and opportunities. It's about recognizing that success does not come from one single path, but from many. And it's about making sure every student, no matter their zip code, income, learning style, or family situation, has access to an education that best prepares them for their chosen path. We faced some setbacks in Montana in recent months. Just before Christmas, the Education Savings Account program that was created by the 2023 legislature was struck down by the courts. This program provides critical flexibility for families with special education students that allows them to choose a learning program that best fits their students' individual needs. Time and time again, we've heard from these families that these programs and this flexibility allowed them to be more engaged in their education and to make a difference and proceed. It allowed them to be more successful and that they were happier. The timing of this decision was especially frustrating. It was right during the holidays. We had families calling in not sure if they were going to receive the funding they needed for their child's education in December. I acted immediately and requested a full stay from the courts, which we were granted for the remainder of the school year. So those children's education will not be disrupted and they will be able to continue in the program that they were in. Now I'm working closely with my partners at the Governor's Office and our Attorney General to move forward with an appeal so that this can continue and these parents have the flexibility that their students deserve. I will always stand up for students and families that need stability and certainty in their educational choices. As superintendent, my duty is to serve all students in the state of Montana. That means supporting strong public schools. It means respecting parental rights, and it means ensuring our education system reflects the values of Montana and our students, a world that is flexible, innovative, and full of opportunity. That is also why I was honored to be invited and join President Trump when he signed the executive order dismantling the Department of Education last year. We are also currently taking advantage of the opportunity to file for the federal Ed Flex waiver. For too long, Washington red tape has hampered innovation and flexibility needed in the community to provide the best education for our students that reflect the state of Montana. We here in Montana know what our students and families need, not bureaucrats 2,000 miles away. When families are empowered, students succeed, and when students succeed, communities thrive. Montana will stay strong by offering these opportunities and flexibilities. Let's keep standing up for parents. Let's keep expanding opportunity. And let's keep building an education system as diverse, resilient, and strong as the state we call home. Thank you all. God bless our students, and God bless the great state of Montana.
Okay, next up, and as a reminder, don't be shy, get pizza back there. There's pizza. No one's gonna judge you if you're eating while you're listening to speeches. That's the vibe here, so feel free to. We are very blessed to have someone all the way from representing Kalispell in Senate District 5. Senate President Matt Regier graduated from Flathead High School in 1999. He graduated from the University of Montana Western with a Bachelor of Arts in Business from the University of Montana. He is a small business owner. He was first elected to the Montana House of Representatives in 2017, where he served through 2024, including serving as Speaker of the House in the 2023-24 session. Matt Regier has served in the State Senate one session, where he continues to serve as State Senate President. Please welcome Senate President Matt Regier.
Thanks a bunch. I don't know about giving pizza right out before I come to talk. I don't know if that's a bonus or not. But, I've met quite a bit of parents throughout the years being in this role, and parents that have spent countless hours teaching their kids at the dining room table how to do those fractions and chemistry projects. I've also met parents that work an extra job to keep their kids in the private school because they love the values that are aspired by that private school. And I've also met parents that have spent hours volunteering at the public schools, booster club, and traveling countless miles to watch their daughter's volleyball game. And I've met families that have a combination of all of the above, all of which they know that their children best, and they have chosen the best path for them. I'm a product of the government-run education system, and it was the goodest thing that ever happened for me. Actually, I just threw that in there. Say that. Actually, it was a good experience for myself. My dad was a teacher. He was a football coach, mentor in the public education system for 28 years. But my niece and nephews are also part of a homeschool co-op. So I have seen and experienced education choice up close. And as a legislator, I'm not here to advocate for a system of education. And I think that's what most disappoints me about the Montana Federation of Public Employees. They're continually here at the Capitol, session after session, and they advocate for the adults that are running the show. But then there's times that we have a bill to enhance the experience and learning environment of the kids of that education system. And they are silent, and even worse yet, sometimes they're against those bills. I want to advocate for the kids of Montana and not for the system. And really, in essence, that is what defines school choice. Please, I'm asking you to realize that there are others out there that have chosen different paths than what you would choose, and I support their choices too, as a school choice advocate. Now I'd like to speak to those of you that don't have school choice. Yes, I've also met those families out there that don't have the options. To understand that we in Montana, we've always in the past have had school choice, but it's for those that can afford it. I will also want to advocate for those families here in Montana that have a situation of wanting school choice, but not being able to afford it. In the simplest definition of school choice, that means more than one option, right? You have to have two. How many of you have ever, probably through a string of bad choices, found yourself at a family table of Monopoly? Is anybody interested? Yeah, I've been there too. My sister, my younger sister, she is the sweetest gal that you'll ever meet. She just has a heart of gold, very much a servant, until she starts winning at the family game of Monopoly. I'm telling you, all of a sudden she just turns into Shark Tank. It's something different. She demands every dollar that I owe her for rent. Her eyes actually light up and start glistening when I have to mortgage my properties just to pay her. So it's just kind of pure evil, really. I'm telling you, monopolies are not good. Whether it's at the family table, playing the game, or whether it's in the educational system, monopolies are not good. It changes people, as you see in my sister, and it changes as you see in the union that advocates for a system and not for our kids. So I think we need to keep the choice with our kids' education. We need to empower you, the parents, to be the director of your child's educational path. Montana needs to get this done with the help of OPI and the executive branch. We need to get this done in 2027 and let parents be in charge of their child's future. So thank you very much.
Slight echo there. All right, well, I am pleased to be able to invite someone up today who has been impacted directly by school choice efforts in the state of Montana, and unfortunately impacted negatively by the kind of overreach of our courts that was mentioned earlier by our state superintendent. I would like to welcome up individual. Her name is Catherine Walter. She's a Montana native, lives in rural Montana. She homeschools 3 children. One of her children are here with her today. She enjoys being part of both the homeschool and special needs communities and speaking up on behalf of the rights of both. It's a deeply personal issue to her as one of her children has special needs. Catherine was a key member of the Special Needs Education Savings Account Steering Committee with the Office of Public Instruction, providing vital guidance and advocating for the autonomy, flexibility, and freedom to provide parent-directed education via the ESA program. And like I said, a participant as well of the program. I would like you to please welcome Catherine Walter.
Good afternoon. When I was first asked to talk during School Choice Week, I was like, nope, I don't have anything to say about school choice. But then I thought about it, and I thought, I have kids in public school, and I have kids in homeschool, and I was part of the steering committee for the ESA accounts, and now I have a kid with an ESA account, and I thought, yes, I do have something to say about school choice. Like he said, I'm a wife and I'm a mother to 3 kids, and I live in a very rural community of White Sulphur Springs, Montana. And over there, we have one school, public school K through 12, and that's our only option. So there's not a lot of choices. My youngest son, William, has a sensory processing disorder, apraxia, and autism. We tried very hard to make public school work. I was frustrated, angry, and cried many times during and after IEP team meetings. I knew what the law required of the school, and I brought in an advocate, and I even tried to hire an attorney. And all of it was a waste of my time and energy, and my son suffered for it. They saw my son as nothing more than too many dollar signs, and my story is not the only story like that. But thank God I live in this country. Thank God I live in this state where we have different options. And thank God that homeschooling was something my family could easily pivot to, and that I could make it work for all 3 of my children. What I have been able to do at home not only work for my special needs son, but for all 3 of my children. They get a customized, individualized education that they deserve and is the dream under the IDEA law. They are human beings worthy of an education in whatever way works for them. They get to reach their fullest potential, and I get a front row seat in directing it, which is what we all want. Public schools in rural Montana just are unable to provide that. It's not a judgment, it's just a fact. When Suvan presented the special needs education savings accounts, I fully supported it. When they were looking for volunteers to serve on the steering committee, I applied, knowing that my son would not be eligible because we had taken him out of public schools too soon. I was a parent of a special needs kid, and I knew how hard the public school system was for these kids. And I wanted to be a part of something that could make it easier for the parents and those kids. The committee that I was on worked very hard to make sure that allowable expenses were well thought out so that the parents had flexibility to get their students what they needed. OPI does not infringe on any parental rights. They do not tell the parents what curriculum to buy or what books are allowed or not allowed. The committee also worked very hard to make sure that the process was easy to submit the receipts and that the parents had an easy process to get reimbursed. To give you an example of how life-changing ESA accounts are, when my son with a speech disorder needed a talking device, I begged for 3 years for the school district to provide one, and he never got one. Never got one. 3 years. With an ESA account, it would be as simple as me ordering one, submitting the receipt this month, and over the next few months getting reimbursed. A special needs kid had a need, got it provided for, and the parent gets reimbursed. That simple. I would urge the governor and OPI to do whatever is necessary to get these ESA accounts back online. So yes, I support school choice. Our children are not merely dollar signs. They are worth so much more than that. So thank God this country and this state recognizes that our children are worth more than dollar signs. And just as important, thank God that this country and this state recognize our parents as having the right to choose what is best for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming down, Catherine. All right, second to last speaker. Actually, we have a couple federal delegate representatives who will be with us too, but I told them they got like 1 minute, so we're getting close, you guys. Feel free to keep grabbing some food, water and pizza in the back. I would like now to introduce somebody who I think has amazed many people if you've been following his journey. He's an individual who had experience going to a public district and then kind of stepped out into homeschool and started to work and uncovered some pretty crazy things that were kind of being pushed by the union at the convention, the teachers' convention. And we're really excited to have him today because it's great to see somebody who's called to kind of stand up in the way that they know best to be able to do something. Finley Warden is a 6th-generation Montanan from Polson. He's a candidate for the Montana State Legislature. During the last 2 sessions, he fought for parental rights and against left-wing ideology in the education system. He previously held roles working under Governor Greg Gianforte's office and with the Montana Republican Party. Please join me in welcoming Finley Warden.
Thank you, Patrick, for the kind introduction. It's an honor to speak with you all here today. So I attended Montana Public Schools for 10 years. Throughout my time in public schools, I saw firsthand how left-wing ideology shapes the classroom experience. I watched parents get blindsided as schools encourage students to adopt new gender ideologies, or gender identities, all without parental knowledge. I saw history taught almost entirely through a lens of anti-capitalism, dividing the world into oppressor and oppressed classes. And I heard students repeatedly repeat the idea that liberalism and tolerance are the highest moral virtues. The consistency of these messages made one thing clear to me. This wasn't accidental or isolated. This is an organized and systemic problem with real consequences for families and the next generation. So after I graduated, instead of speculating from the outside, I chose to attend the annual Montana Federation of Public Employees Teachers Conference to see firsthand where this ideology was coming from. Schools across Montana are required by law to shut down for this conference where teachers receive their required professional development training, and what I witnessed at this conference should concern every parent in the state. One presentation titled The LGBTQ State of the State featured a presenter flown in from out of state who instructed teachers on how to get around Montana law so they could change students' gender identity in the classroom without parental permission. Teachers were guided on how to use pronouns in the classroom, and most troubling of all, the session promoted a handout designed for early elementary and preschool students that asks them to select their gender identity and their sexual orientation. Another presentation demonstrated how to dismiss and demean parents who raise concerns about ideologies like critical race theory and diversity, equity, and inclusion, teaching school officials to play dumb and pretend not to understand these concepts when questioned by parents. Another session, a librarian described how she worked to reintroduce a previously removed, over-sexualized book back into her library. And in yet another presentation, you won't believe this, a representative from the Montana DEI Council of Art Educators, if you can even believe something like that exists, compared child pornography censorship to Hitler's Nazi regime. This is the kind of stuff that the teachers union is teaching. But this is really only scratching the surface. I don't have time to even cover everything I found at this conference, but what is unmistakably clear is that the union is unfit to provide professional development to teachers who deserve so much better than this. So the question is, what can we do? Many of you here today, parents and educators, have taken a brave and important step by choosing alternative education options where parents truly have a say in children's education. You should be commended for that, and thank you for everything you all do. We also have to recognize that still a majority of students in Montana attend public schools. Parents in those schools deserve the absolute right to direct their children's education, and teachers deserve the freedom to teach without being bound to rigid ideological agendas pushed by unions. That's why in the legislature, I will fight to end the requirement for schools to shut down for this conference and to eliminate any chance of public taxpayer money being used to fund it. We need real enforcement for existing Montana laws that already prohibit much of this activism in our classroom. And most importantly, and I want to work alongside all of you in doing this, we need to expand financial access to all educational opportunities so the money follows the student and parents have a say in children's education. We also need to do a serious review of Montana's schools of education to ensure future teachers are trained in the essentials. Too often, these programs are shielded and protected to promote left-wing ideology. In teacher training, prioritizing activism over preparation. If we want real reform in public school classrooms, we need to start where teachers are trained before ideology becomes embedded and protected in the system. To parents with children still in public schools, know that you have leadership in Helena that's here to back you up, and you have a community here to stand with you. And just as a piece of advice, where you find teachers or people in the administration who align with you, treasure them, because they will become your strongest allies to advance your children's education. When I was in high school, I was one of the few openly conservative students in my class, and admittedly, I was loud about it, and that visibility brought real pushback, sometimes from within the school and the administration itself. But what stayed with me was one teacher, just one, who stepped in to defend my right to speak. He didn't agree with my politics. In fact, he was a liberal. But he believed authority shouldn't be used to crush unpopular views. That experience taught me why school choice matters. When families have no alternatives, popular ideology wins. When they do, traditional principles still have a fighting chance. It's an honor to stand alongside all of you here today. Thank you, and God bless you all.
All right, thanks, Finley. I would like to now ask some of the staff of the representatives of our federal delegation to maybe come up and maybe line up. I think that way it'll be easy for you guys to kind of go back to back. We are very grateful to have representatives here from Senator Daines' office, Senator Sheehy's office, and Congressman Downing's office. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get someone from Congressman Zinke's office to be here with us today. But we are going to have our group here kind of go back to back on your guys' speeches. And please feel free to introduce yourself to everyone here. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Hi everyone, I'm Eliza McLaughlin from Senator Daines' office. He sent the following letter for you all. Dear friends, thank you for the opportunity to share a few words as we gather to celebrate National School Choice Week. I'd like to say a special thanks to everyone in attendance for your efforts to ensure every child has access to the educational tools that work best for them. Here in the Treasure State, our children are our most precious natural resource, and we must do all we can to nurture their minds for the promise of their future. Since the start of National School Choice Week in 2011, expanding educational options for students and families has always been our mission, and I will continue advocating for parents' fundamental rights to make the best decisions for their children. I am proud to sponsor the National School Choice Week resolution and the A+ Act to allow Montanans the ability to utilize federal resources that will empower our students. Traditional public schools, charter schools, magnet schools, private schools, online learning, and homeschooling each provide value to children across the U.S., and all options should remain accessible. As we continue our fight for educational freedom, we reaffirm our commitment to providing the best learning environments for children to complement their unique abilities and needs. Providing families with school choice bolsters competition and enhances the overall quality and standard of our education system. When children have access to environments that foster positivity, learning, inclusivity, and success, they will thrive. Finally, I want to thank all of the educators throughout Montana for your invaluable and transformative work that is equipping the next generation of leaders. May God bless you. Sincerely, United States Senator Steve Daines.
Hello, my name is Thomas and I'm from the office of United States Senator Tim Sheehy. He sent the following letter. Friends, it is an honor to share with you a few words. Thank you for gathering here for Montana Kids. As many of you know, I'm the father of 4 young children. My wife and I understand the importance of parents being at the forefront of their child's education, and I understand the need for choice in education. Competition leads to better outcomes and more accountability. Not to mention, parents are better equipped to address the specific educational needs of their children. That's why we must provide Montanans with access to the form of education that works best for their family. In the Senate, I'm proud to support the Educational Choice for Children Act and the Student Empowerment Act, both of which would empower families first and expand school choice. The first would provide an annual tax credit to Montanans who fund scholarship awards for students to cover K-12 educational expenses. The second would allow parents to use 529 education savings plans for additional eligible K-12 educational expenses across public, private, and homeschool settings. Eligible expenses would include school curriculum, books, tutoring, testing, fees, and more. I'll continue to fight to improve access to all forms of education to better meet the needs of each Montana child. Please reach out if our office can ever be of assistance to you. It's my honor to serve you and all Montanans. Sincerely, Senator Tim Sheehy.
Good afternoon. I'm Colin with Congressman Downing's office, and he sent the following letter. Fellow Montanans, every child in Montana deserves access to an education that meets their individual needs and helps them reach their full potential. Families know their children best, and they deserve the freedom to choose the educational path that works for them. Montana's communities are diverse. From rural towns to growing cities, a one-size-fits-all approach to education does not always serve our students' best needs. School choice empowers parents to select from a range of options, including traditional public schools, charter schools, private schools, homeschooling, or other forms of education. By expanding educational opportunity and encouraging innovation, school choice helps ensure that a student's success is not limited by geography or circumstance. When families have access to options, students are better positioned to thrive and communities are strengthened. As your congressman, I remain committed to supporting policies that prioritize students, respect parental involvement, and expand opportunity for Montana's children. Sincerely, Congressman Troy Downing.
All right, this brings us to our last speaker, who is actually going to be closing the rally. However, you're going to find out that we're not totally closing. Obviously, if you have to get off and get back to work, please feel free to, but we are blessed to have so many great vendors here today. We hope that you take some time to check out the tables. Before I introduce her, I wanted to take a moment because there's actually something pretty big that's happening pretty soon, and they didn't know that I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. The 2026 Montana Homeschool Convention is coming up very soon, April 16th through the 18th. That's going to be here in Helena. They have a table right up here up front. I would highly recommend that you guys come check it out. They have some great speakers and guests that are lined up. You can also check out homeschoolmt.com. And so with that, I want to introduce a friend of mine who is very helpful in organizing this event as well today. She didn't put it here in her intro for me to read her bio, but she was a former homeschool parent herself, homeschooling, I believe, 2 boys. All the way up into high school, and I just got to say, I could never homeschool my kids like trigonometry and that kind of stuff. That sounds so tough. Cheryl Tuskin, she leads the Frontier Institute's K-12 education-related policy and outreach programs. She loves partnering with policymakers, families, and key stakeholders across Montana to advance education freedom. She also manages ednavigatemt.com, which provides free resources and support for parents and educators navigating Montana's education options. Please join me in welcoming Cheryl Tuscan.
So yes, I was the reluctant homeschool mom. I didn't want to. We did a little bit of public school. We got to take part in a charter school for a year when we were in Colorado. Came back to Montana, and I had no charter schools to choose from, and we didn't make enough money to do private school, and so I reluctantly chose to homeschool my kids because it was what was best for them in the season. And I kind of exemplify all of school choice because we did public school, charter school, homeschool. We went back to public school for a couple years and then back to homeschooling. So this is, homeschooling's not for everybody. It's a wonderful option, but we need more options for our families. So as we wrap up School Choice Week here at the Capitol, I want to bring us back to the reason why we're all standing here today. It's about the kids, period. Everything we've heard today from parents and educators and leaders across Montana points to a shared truth that we can all agree on, is that every child is unique and every family situation is different. Education isn't one size fits all, because kids are not one size fits all. Can I get an amen? The strength of Montana's education landscape is that it reflects that exact reality. We have dedicated public schools, we have flexible charter programs, we have strong private and faith-based options, we have homeschool families, we have hybrid models, and we have emerging learning communities, all working in their own ways to help kids grow, learn, and thrive. School choice isn't about elevating one option over another. It's about honoring the fact that families need different paths at different times, just like my family needed different paths at different times. And having those options will allow parents to respond to those child's needs with care and wisdom and love. Every year we paused and reevaluated for our family, and that's why we chose to go different routes each year. At its core, education freedom is a parental right. The right to determine where, when, how, and by what method your child is educated. When parents are trusted and supported in that role, kids are better served, communities are stronger, and our state is better for it. So before you head out today, I hope you'll take time to visit the vendor tables, eat some pizza, get a scarf, for sure, we've got tons of them over there, and learn more about the options available right here in Montana. You'll find schools and programs and organizations that exist to serve families. And make sure you go and check out the OPI table to talk about public school choice, which is a huge, huge factor in our state. And if you're looking for a place to start, Ed Navigate is right here up front to help serve families, make sense of their options, and find the path that fits their child best so that the parents don't have to navigate those decisions alone. So thank you for showing up this week. Thank you for standing together for kids and for families. And thank you for believing that when we put the children first at the center, Montana's future is full of promise. Thank you so much and enjoy.